You open your mail, or worse, you open an email from a service you didn't sign up for, and you see a name you don't recognize. It says something like Midland Credit Management or Portfolio Recovery Associates. Your stomach drops. You think, I didn't take out a loan from these people. Who is this? Then you read the fine print. It's that credit card from 3 years ago, the one you swore you paid off, the one you ignored during that rough patch when you lost your job or had that medical emergency. Suddenly, a ghost from your financial past is knocking on your door, and they are demanding money. If you ever felt that specific panic, that mix of shame and confusion, stick with me for the next 10 minutes. My name is Thomas, and I spend way too much time thinking about what happens after a debt is sent to collections, especially how many people panic when they start receiving calls, not realizing that collection agencies often bought the debt for pennies on the dollar, and that negotiating with them follows completely different rules than dealing with the original lender. If you're someone who feels like you're drowning in past due bills, or you're terrified to answer your phone because you don't know which debt is calling, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now, most of the advice you hear about debt is fine when you're paying the original lender. But here's the thing. The moment your debt goes to a collection agency, the rules of the game completely change. The math changes, the psychology changes, and your strategy has to change too. Most people keep playing by the old rules, and that's why they end up paying way more than they have to, or they ignore it and get sued. Let's talk about what actually happens behind the scenes and how you can negotiate with them using a completely different set of rules. So let's rewind. You had a Capital One card. You owed $1,500. You stopped paying. For 6 months, Capital One sent you letters. They called you. They were the original creditor. But after about 180 days of non-payment, a law called the Credit Card Act actually forces them to do something called charge off the debt. That sounds scary, like you're off the hook, but it's actually an accounting term. It means Capital One says to the IRS, hey, this guy isn't paying. We're taking this as a loss. But here's what most people don't realize. Capital One doesn't just eat that $1,500 and walk away. They sell it. They bundle your $1,500 debt with a bunch of other deadbeat debts and sell that portfolio to a debt buyer for pennies on the dollar. We're talking 3 to 4 cents on the dollar. Do the math with me. Your debt is $1,500. What the collection agency paid for it? Roughly $60. That is the single most important fact you will learn today. The person calling you at 8:07 p.m. on a Tuesday, they didn't lend you that money. They invested $60 in a piece of paper with your name on it. Now, you might be thinking, Thomas, that's predatory. They bought my debt for nothing. And yeah, it feels slimy, but here's the reality. They took a risk. They bought a pile of debts hoping that people like you and me will pay them back. Their entire business model is based on fear and inconvenience. Look, to negotiate with these guys, you have to understand what's going on in their heads. The person on the phone is not a loan officer. They're a closer. Their job is to create urgency. They are trained to make you feel like a criminal. They use phrases like final notice and legal action because those words trigger your amygdala, the fear center of your brain. Here's an eye-opening statistic for you. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, about 1 in 3 adults with a credit report has a debt in collections at some point. You are not alone. But the collection industry knows that most people, when scared, will do 2 things. 1, avoidance. They hide, they change their number. This is bad because if you ignore a lawsuit, they get a default judgment against you and can garnish your wages. 2, panic payment. They call the collector, cry a little, and say, I can send you $200 right now if you promise to stop calling. If you do option 2 without understanding the rules, you just made a massive mistake. 3, the reset button trap. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's say you call them up. You feel guilty. You say, I know I owe this money. I'm a good person. I had a bad year. I can pay you $200 today. The collector says, great, we appreciate your cooperation. Just to confirm, you are acknowledging this debt is yours and you agree to pay $200. You send the $200. Here's what most people don't realize. In many cases, that payment just reset the clock on the statute of limitations. Every debt has a statute of limitations. That's the time limit during which a collector can sue you to force you to pay. It varies by state, usually 3 to 6 years. If you don't pay or acknowledge the debt in writing for that period, it becomes time-barred. They can still ask you to pay, but they can't take you to court. But the moment you make a payment, in some states, that acknowledges the debt and resets the clock. So, by trying to be a good person and make a partial payment, you might have just given them another 4 years to sue you for the remaining balance. That is a psychological trap. You feel better because you did something, but you actually made your legal position worse. Part 4. The new rules of negotiation. So, how do we fix this? How do we negotiate with them using a completely different set of rules? The first rule is simple. Know who you're talking to. There are 2 types of collection agencies. First-party collectors, these are usually just a department inside the original company. They play by stricter rules. Third-party collectors and debt buyers, these are the guys we're talking about. They bought your debt for $60 and want to turn it into $1,500. Rule number 2, never admit the debt is yours verbally. When they call, you say this: "I'm not acknowledging this debt, but I received your letter. Please send me a debt validation letter to my address." Under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA, if you request validation within 30 days of their first contact, they have to prove that this debt is yours, that they have the right to collect it, and provide a breakdown of the amount. A lot of these debt buyers, they have terrible records. They bought a spreadsheet. They might not have the actual contract with your signature. If they can't validate it, they legally have to stop collection efforts. You just won. You owe $0. Part 5. The pay for delete strategy. Okay, let's say the debt is valid. You actually owe it and you want to clean up your credit. This is where we use a completely different set of rules to negotiate. Most people think if you pay a collection, your credit score goes up immediately. Wrong. If you just pay the collection agency $1,500, the account on your credit report updates to paid in full or settled. But here's the kicker. The collection account itself stays on your credit report for 7 years from the date of the first missed payment. So you paid $1,500 and your score still sucks because the collection line item is still sitting there, scaring away future lenders. This is where you need leverage. You need to ask for something called pay for delete. This is the nuclear option. You call them up and you say, "Look, I have $800 right now. I am willing to settle this debt today, but my offer is contingent on you agreeing to delete this account entirely from my credit reports. I'm not paying to have it marked paid. I'm paying to erase it. If you can't do that, I'll wait another 2 years for the statute of limitations to run out." Now, officially, the credit bureaus say pay for delete is against their rules. The big credit scoring models hate it. But here's the thing. Collection agencies are independent. They have the ability to tell the credit bureaus to remove data. They do it all the time because they want their money. Use the math against them. They bought your debt for $60. Your offer is $800. That's a 1,233% return on their investment. They will take that deal. They might not say yes on the first call. Hang up, call back tomorrow. Talk to a different rep. Get the agreement in writing before you send a dime. Part 6. The lump sum psychology. Let's talk about the actual numbers. If you owe $5,000 and you offer them $2,500, they might say no. But if you offer them $1,500 as a lump sum, they might say yes. Why? Because of the bird in the hand theory. The collector has a quota. The collection agency has a cash flow problem. They need money today. If you offer to pay $1,500 right now via credit card over the phone, that is infinitely more valuable to them than a promise to pay $2,500 over 6 months. Why? Because if you promise to pay over 6 months, you might lose your job next month and stop paying. Then they have nothing. They'd rather have the guaranteed smaller amount now. So when you negotiate, use words like today, right now, and lump sum. It triggers their greed. Part 7. The story of Mark. I had a buddy named Mark. He had a medical bill for $1,200 go to collections. It was stressing him out for 2 years. Finally, he saved up $600 to settle it. He called the agency. He was shaking. He offered the $600. They came back and said, "We can do $900. Mark, because he didn't know the rules, started negotiating against himself. I only have $700. I stopped him. I wrote him a text. Hang up. He hung up. I I explained to him they bought that debt for maybe $40. Your $600 is a massive win for them. Call them back tomorrow. He called back the next day. A different person answered. He said, I have $500 in my hand right now. I can pay it via debit card in the next 10 minutes if you agree to delete this from my credit file. They said yes. Mark saved $400 and fixed his credit because he understood the leverage. The debt is a commodity to them. To you, it's your peace of mind. You have to treat it like a business transaction, not a moral failing. Part 8. The Statute of Limitations Gambit. Now, this next part is a bit advanced, but it's important. If your debt is old, like 3 or 4 years old, you have a massive weapon. Look up your state's statute of limitations on debt. If you are within 6 months of that date expiring, you can play the wait game. Call them and say, I am aware that this debt is approaching the statute of limitations in your state. I am not going to pay anything until that date passes. However, if you want to settle this for 20% of the balance right now, I'll consider it. Otherwise, I'm happy to wait it out. Once the statute runs, I'm never paying you a dime.
That is a terrifying sentence for a collector, because if the statute runs out, they can't sue you. You become a moral debtor. You might still owe it in a spiritual sense, but legally, they can't touch you. They'd rather get 20% of something from you now than 100% of nothing in 6 months. Look, dealing with debt is not fun. It's embarrassing. It's stressful. But you cannot let the shame of the past ruin your financial future. Here are your actionable steps if you have debt in collections today. 1. Validate it. Request debt validation by mail. Make them prove it. 2. Know the date. Figure out the date of first delinquency. Know when the debt falls off your report, 7 years, and know when the statute of limitations runs out. 3. Negotiate the outcome. Don't just settle the dollar amount, settle the outcome. Use the pay for delete phrase. Get it in writing. 4. Use the math. Remember, they paid pennies for your debt. Your offer is generous. 5. Get it in writing. Never, ever pay over the phone without a letter first stating the terms of the settlement and the deletion agreement. Rebuilding your life after financial mistakes isn't about making more money. It's about making smarter moves with the money and the information you have. If this video helped you feel like you have a little more control over that sinking feeling in your gut, please hit that like button. It helps more people in your situation find this video. And if you want to know exactly how much impact a pay for delete has on your credit score, click the video right here where I break down the exact numbers of how credit scores are calculated. My name is Thomas. Stop hiding from the phone calls. Go get your power back.